Good evening and welcome to Primetime News and Mitv. I'm Victor Daniels. In the news, Justice Mitv of the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami and two others a bail in the sum of 500 million naira with two sureties. The sureties, according to the judge, must have landed property in Sokoro, Maitama, Gwarimpa. He added that they must submit the traveling documents to the court. The documents of the properties are to be verified by the Deputy Chief Registrar of the court, while the sureties are also to post the affidavit of means. Malami was also ordered to deposit his traveling documents with the court and must not travel out of the country without the permission of the court. The former AGF and his sureties were also ordered to deposit the two recent passport photographs with the court. Meanwhile, Malami has been ordered to be remanded in Kuja prison pending his perfection of the bail conditions. Justice Nwite subsequently fixed February 17th for commencement of trial of the corruption charges. The same bail were extended to Malami, the son Abdulaziz Malami, and an employee of Rahamania Properties Limited, Hajia Asabe Bashir. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission filed a 16-count alleged money laundering charge against Malami, his son, and his wife. And in a significant boost for the People's Democratic Party ahead of the 2027, a former President Goodluck Jonathan has pledged a more active role in the party's affairs. This comes from the PDP National Chairman Tanimo Turaki following a high-level meeting in Abuja. Turaki addressed journalists after a closed-door session at Jonathan's office, joined by the full National Working Committee of former governors, founding fathers, and select state chairmen. The meeting lasted about 90 minutes. Turaki said they briefed Jonathan on the party state, challenges and prospects, soliciting his support and guidance. Jonathan reportedly feels obligated to the PDP, which he says has done everything possible for him. His remarks were called reassuring, especially with off-season polls in Ekiti and Osun this year and the 2027 general elections looming. On resolving the PDP crisis, Turaki noted not all can go to court. Jonathan offered the private suggestions they will act on. He reaffirmed PDP as Nigeria's strongest opposition, promising a level playing field, inclusivity, and an end to impunity.
President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, PhD, first to introduce members of the newly elected National Working Committee to him, and then to tell him what we've been doing since our election in the National Convention that was held last November in Ibadan. We briefed him on the state of the party, the challenges, the prospects. And in this visit, we are accompanied by former governors, members of the Board of Trustees, founding fathers and founding mothers, Forum of State Chairmen, in addition to other leaders of the party that also includes former ministers of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have solicited, as usual, for his support, for his guidance, for his advice, as always. And we have his assurance that he's still a card-carrying member of the People's Democratic Party. He's still active and will even be more active these days in the activities and affairs of the People's Democratic Party. And he has assured us that PDP had done everything for him that can be done to an individual, and that he still feels that he remains obligated to PDP. And his remarks and statements are not only reassuring, but indeed they are very, very encouraging as we begin to prepare for elections, off-season elections in Ekiti and Oshun this year, and the general elections that are coming up in 2027. I want to assure members of the public and indeed PDP family members out there that PDP still remains the most veritable platform for standing and winning election in Nigeria. We still remain the leading opposition party in this country, and this new leadership of PDP is taking this party back to the people who are the owners of this party. And in doing so, we'll ensure that there's going to be level playing ground, there's going to be inclusivity, there will be no longer infinity, and we are not going to allow people to take what does not belong to them. We will listen to Nigerians. Whatever Nigerians want is what we'll give to them. Whatever Nigerians want is what they will have as far as this leadership is concerned. This is the party that belongs to Nigerian people, and that is why we are called the People's Democratic Party. So I want, and honestly, you will not expect me to come out and say them on national television like this, because saying some of them will be giving leakage or export to our opponents. No, these are things for us, and we're going to utilize them. But I tell you that they are germane. They are germane. Yeah. Even when you win the war, you also need to win the battle. But you must also understand from those that have shown remorse, remarkable remorse, and who are willing to now continue to be loyal party men and women, will carry them along. Don't forget, when we were sworn in Ibadan, I did say that we are going to give us the password to access their portal, to upload the data of our candidate and his running mate. And we duly accessed, and then we're able now to print down, download the form answer to that obligation that is placed on the shoulders of any political party is to give those statutory notice, which we get. Now, INEC, as a regulator.
First Lady Oluremi Tinubu has expressed gratitude to women leaders across the country for their support of the Renewed Hope Initiative and the broader goals of the current administration as Nigerians enter the new year. In a message of appreciation released on Wednesday, the First Lady acknowledged the contributions of the wife of the Vice President, Nana Shatima, as State First Ladies and RHI State Coordinators, wives of members of the National Assembly, ministers, service chiefs, and other women leaders nationwide. Mrs. Tinubu said the compassion, dedication, and readiness to act demonstrated by the women leaders had strengthened collective efforts to deliver on the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, particularly in empowering Nigerians and supporting the most vulnerable, irrespective of background or status. The First Lady noted that a sustained partnership and commitment of women leaders across the country had been central to the work of the Renewed Hope Initiative, which focuses on social welfare, inclusion, and support for disadvantaged groups. She expressed appreciation for the collaboration received since the inception of the administration, describing it as vital to advancing national development and inclusive growth. Looking ahead, Mrs. Tinubu said she looked forward to continued support and partnership in 2026 and beyond, and the Renewed Hope Initiative expands its program and impact across the country. The Technical Planning Committee on the operationalization of the Ogun Specialist Hospital has submitted its report to the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, with the facility now 78.2% completed. Receiving the report in Abuja, High Prep Project Coordinator Professor Nenibarini Zabe commended the 14-member committee led by Professor Christy Mato for its comprehensive recommendations aimed at ensuring the sustainable operation of the 100-bed specialist hospital. The report outlines key proposals covering the hospital's legal framework, governance structure, operational model, scope of services, human resources, funding strategy, power supply, and monitoring and evaluation. Presenting the report, Professor Mato said the goal is to guarantee a sustainable operations of the hospital while expanding access to quality healthcare for the Ogoni people. Professor Zabi further described the hospital as a vital component of HIPREP's broader public health interventions in Ogoni land, and adding that it will operate as a referral hub, reduce reliance on distant urban tertiary hospitals, and significantly improve health outcomes. Zabi also urged Ogoni communities to support and protect the hospital infrastructure to ensure its successful delivery and long-term benefits.
The Ogoni Specialist Hospital represents a strategic effort by HIPREP to address the long-standing health services gap in line with UNEP's recommendations for Ogoni land. The importance of the specialist hospital to the public health needs of the Ogoni people and the wider public cannot be overstated. When completed, it will operate as a referral hub, providing quality specialized care, while reducing the burden of accessing distant urban tertiary medical services. We are confident.
Consequences of this oil pollution in Ogoni land include limited income for the people of Ogoni, limited livelihood options. Farmers and fishermen with this pollution are unable to access their means of livelihood. There's food insecurity for a people that are known to be very good farmers. The largest yams around usually come from Ogoni land, but that is no longer so. So there's food insecurity and there's very poor access to health care. This situation has increased calls for improved health care services to support the fragile existing health infrastructure and services in Ogoni land. The need for proactive measures to improve the poor health conditions in Ogoni land and address the severe environmental damage caused by oil pollution, along with the limited investment in essential health services and infrastructure, is very urgent and timely.
A civil society organization, the Osun Mastermind, has demanded a public explanation from the Osun State House of Assembly over an alleged 2 billion naira expenses within 9 months. The executive director of the group, Professor Wasiu Oyedokun Ali, also charged the state government to conduct a total overhauling of the Osun Amotekun Corps in response to the security threat confronting the state. Our correspondent, Jamio Moni, reports the story.
As 2026 begins, a leading civil society organization in Osun State and one of the prominent prayer groups in Nigeria, the Osun Mastermind, has highlighted several issues demanding urgent attention at both the state and national level.
In the year 2025, we addressed the following critical issues, among others: subsidy removal and the attendant hardship, inflation, instability of foreign exchange rates. The 2026 election in Osun State never happened. Teacher recruitment, illegalities in processes of contract awards in Osun State.
Central to the issue raised was the uncompleted projects by the Osun State House of Assembly, despite what the group described as substantial financial expenditure.
As of the end of Q3 2025, the Osun State House of Assembly had expended over 2 billion naira. Our question then, as we act again now, is what responsibilities could have got over 2 billion naira in 9 months? Till date, the 50 projects that the Assembly is undertaking have been abandoned.
Against the backdrop of the tragic incident involving operatives of the Amatekun Corps, in which 4 residents were killed in Akinlalo community, Among other allegations of abuse of office by the commander of the corps, Adekunle Omoyele, Osun Mastermind is appealing for the total overhaul of the state security apparatus in response to the security threat confronting the state.
We're warning that Omoyele should not have been appointed as the head of Amotekun, because once you want a fish to rot him, cut off the head or let the head be poisoned. So there should be a total overhaul, beginning with removal of the present leadership, replacing them with competent hands, and then overhauling the system before we even talk of recruitment. Let it be on record that we are warning again now. Our prayer is that insecurity will not become the order of the day in Osun State.
They appeal to the state government not to take for granted the vulnerability of Osun as a neighbor to Kwara and Ekiti State.
Like he said, it is our hope, our prayer. But beyond that, our position is that Amotekun should be reorganized for efficiency and effectiveness. I mean, considering where we are the next to Ekiti, where there have been incidences. And then we are next to Kwara, where there's also been. So Osun is already almost in the net. And again, we have seen incursion into Osun by the kidnap of the retired custom officer in Ora. And so it's no longer that Osumowa, it is now that it is here with us.
The group lauded the federal government for its effort at reducing the price of fuel, urging the Bola Tinubu-led administration to do more to ease the hardship faced by many Nigerians.
We have noted with some delight that the cost of fuel has started to drop, with some stations currently selling at 770 naira per litre. This, while being heartwarming, is still very far from the comfortable price for the average Nigerian citizen. We call on the federal government to intensify efforts to ensure that petrol pump prices crashes further to ease the pressure on the average Nigerian.
While the state approaches the electioneering period, Osun Mastermind urged politicians to toe the line of peace and general interest of Osun State residents.
As we shall be speedy in the countdown to the Osun gubernatorial election, we urge the political gladiators to be much more concerned about the growth and welfare of the state and not a power at all costs.
Meanwhile, effort to reach out to the Chairman House Committee on Information at the Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Oladimeji Adekunle, proved abortive, as calls and WhatsApp messages sent to him were not responded to as at the time of filing this report. From Osogbo, state capital of Osun State, Jamiu Omoniyi reporting for MITV News.
The Lagos State government has reaffirmed its commitment to hosting the All Africa Music Awards Afrima 2026, describing the event as a major platform for advancing Africa's creative economy and global cultural influence. Speaking at a press conference, the Commissioner for Tourism, Toke Benson Awoyinka, said that Afrima had grown into one of Africa's most influential platforms for celebrating musical excellence, cross-cultural collaboration, and global promotion. The founder of Afrima, Mike Dada, confirmed the Lagos as host city, noting that the week-long event would feature concerts, a music business summit, and a globally broadcast awards ceremony highlighting African talent. He said the event would boost youth engagement, tourism, and economic growth, while positioning Lagos as Africa's cultural and creative capital. The co-founder, Olisa Adibwa, commended the Lagos state government and partners for sustained support, stressing Afrima's role in strengthening Africa's music ecosystem through credible recognition and infrastructure.
This edition of Afrima will bring together artists, producers, industry leaders, policymakers, and creative entrepreneurs from across Africa and beyond. It will also underscore the growing relevance of the creative sector as a contributor to employment, tourism, youth empowerment, and global African visibility. I'd like to use this platform and this medium to congratulate all the nominees and participants of this award. Your creativity, discipline, and impact continue to showcase Africa's strength, its diversity, its global competitiveness in the creative space. AFRIMA remains a platform that not only celebrates excellence, but also amplifies African voices and stories to the world. Lagos State remains Africa's cultural and creative capital. Through the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture, we are committed to creating an enabling environment that supports creativity, encourages investment, and positions Lagos as a hub for arts, entertainment, and cultural tourism.
The idea is to showcase, one, the talent of African music. Number two, showcase the capacity of the continent itself to the rest of the world. And to tell the world that we are full of excellence and that we don't stay on trees. We use that platform as well to integrate our people on the continent. You know the power of music, to create peace and integration. And we also use this platform to say that it's possible to use music to take young people away from the streets. Those are the key benefits of Africa. The idea is to use the platform of Africa to promote the cities and the destinations of Africa to the rest of the world for global competitiveness. And that's why we broadcast 24 countries around the world. AFRIMA is a week-long event, and they will call it the biggest weekend for African music. Today, tomorrow, there's what we call African Music Business Summit. We'll share that information with you. The idea of the summit is to discuss the business side of music. That is not for jamboree and entertainment alone. That we must seek economic benefit for our people, and must be a platform for economic transformation for our people.
If you look at what's happened in the rest of the world, those industries have grown and thrived because they've had backbones, they've had the infrastructure, and they've had tent poles that make sure that every year the people who make the sector drive, the people who drive the ecosystem get rewarded and get recognized. And so for the music industry to grow in Africa and across Africa, awards like AFRIMA are necessary. And we are the backbone, we are the infrastructure and the future of where we need to go. So we want everybody, if you're in Lagos, if you come, we have so many people coming from all over Africa, to come and celebrate, to come and look at how we can develop our own infrastructure, grow the music sector, and make sure that it doesn't just become a cottage industry, but it becomes a viable, powerful sector.
Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde on Wednesday called for the calm following an attack by the gunmen at the National Park Office, a local village in the Orire local government area of the state. Makinde assured all that his administration would leave no stone unturned to ensure that such attacks are not repeated. In a statement by his special advisor on media, the governor said earlier today there was a criminal attack by bandits at the National Park Office in a local village, which resulted in the death of 5 National Park Service Forest Guard officers. Preliminary investigations by the security agencies indicate that this was a cross-border attack carried out by bandits. The security agencies are already working together to address this incident and seek the support of residents in the area to cooperate with them in their intelligence gathering. And I quote, "Let me appeal to the residents of the state, especially those in Orire local government and other local government areas along our borders, to remain calm as the security agencies have restored normalcy and deployed more personnel to the area. Our administration will leave no stone unturned to respond decisively to prevent a reoccurrence of such attack." End of quote. And bandits have attacked the National Park Service NPS office in a rural local government community area of Oyo State. The attack occurred about 9 p.m. on Tuesday, being January the 6th, 2026. An eyewitness information indicates that at least 5 NPS personnel were killed during the assault. As one of the time of filing this report, the bodies of the victims are yet to be recovered, and as they believed to be located within the surrounding forest area. While reacting to the attack, the Oyo State Police Public Relations Officer DSP Ayalade Olayinka confirmed there was an attack by yet-to-be-identified men against the men of the national park. He said the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Police Command, and other service chiefs are currently on their way to the location, while the Commissioner of Police, Oyo State Police Command, CP Femi Haruna, have deployed tactical teams, mobile police force officer of the NPF and EOD to the affected area to prevent a further breakdown of the law and order. A gunman suspected to be headsman launched another attack on the Odeko Mabia community in Mbakyo Council Ward, Turan district of Kwanda local government area, Benue State, killing 5 people. The attack, according to the local sources, occurred on Tuesday evening while residents were still harvesting yams and bambara nuts from their farms. The attack, according to one of the locals, was simply identified as tenor, disrupted activities in the community. When contacted, the chairman of Kwanda local government area, Tetsua Yakwan, confirmed the killings. He said the attackers did not immediately withdraw after the assault, which he said caused the tension in the area. Yakwan, who described the area as a vulnerable border area that shares an international boundary with Cameroon, lamented that the terrain complicated security operations. He said that the continued attacks during harvest season threatened food security. And that's it on the local news. We now take a short break. When we come back, we'll give you some reports in the foreign scene. Welcome back. The United States has started an operation to seize the Russian-flagged oil tanker in the North Atlantic after it evaded a partial blockade around Venezuela, multiple U.S. media outlets said on Wednesday. U.S. officials said the tanker is part of a so-called shadow fleet that has carried oil for countries such as Venezuela, Russia, and Iran in violation of U.S. sanctions. And tracking the data from marine traffic show the tanker nearing Iceland exclusive economic zone on Wednesday. The operation first reported the Reuters, citing 2 U.S. officials, that comes after the Russia sent a submarine to escort the empty tanker that the United States has been pursuing for weeks. The vessel thwarted an attempt by the U.S. Coast Guard to board it late last month as it neared Venezuela. Meanwhile, China on Wednesday sharply criticized the U.S. President Donald Trump's planned intervention in Venezuela's oil industry. The outrageous use of force against Venezuela by the United States and the demand that the country should manage its oil resources according to the American First Principle constitutes harassment, violate international law, and harm the rights of the Venezuela people. The Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said, Venezuela has full sovereignty over its mineral resources and economic activities. Mao continued, stressing that China's rights and interests in the country must also be protected. China is a key ally of Venezuela and the largest buyer of South American countries' oil. And Iran on Wednesday hanged a man convicted of spying for its enemy Israel. The judiciary said the latest such execution on espionage charges in a trend that has troubled rights groups. Ali Adestani had been convicted of sharing information with Israeli spies agency Mossad and receiving money in the form of cryptocurrency in exchange, the judiciary's Mizan news agency said. The Islamic Republic has stepped up executions on these charges after its 12-day war in June with Israel. It resulted in a significant damage to nuclear and ballistic facilities and the killings of several key top military and security officials in targeted strikes based on intelligence. The death sentence against Adestani, like many other executions in Iran, was issued without a fair trial and based on false confessions, and therefore lacks any legal legitimacy, said the director of Norway-based Iran human rights group, Mahmoud Amiri Moghadam. We'll now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some stories in sport.
Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, reminds all businesses in Lagos State that the 2026 annual tax filing window is now open. All business entities are required to pay all taxes due and file returns on all pay-as-you-earn, payee, and withholding taxes deducted from payments made during the 2025 tax year on or before 31st January 2026 using the LIRS e-tax platform. To file, visit www.etax.lirs.net. Log in with your company taxpayer ID and password. Complete your payee returns and other required information, then submit. Failure to file annual tax returns within the prescribed timeline violates the provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025 and attracts statutory penalties. This message is from the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS.
Welcome back. The quarter-final CAF African Cup of Nations AFCON Morocco 2025 is now complete, following Nigeria's hard-fought round of 16 victory over DR Congo on Tuesday. Algeria booked the place in the last 8 with a dramatic 1-0 win extra time in Rabat, where substitute Anis Bolbina struck in the 119th minute to seal qualification. The result sets up a mouth-watering quarter-final showdown against Nigeria. Nigeria had earlier confirmed the sport on Monday night after a commanding 4-0 triumph over Mozambique. Victor Osimhen stared with a brace as the Super Eagles cruised into the next round. Before Algeria's qualification, Senegal, Mali, hosts Morocco, Cameroon and Egypt had already secured their quarter-final tickets. Defending champions Cote d'Ivoire became the final team to join the last 8 after a convincing 3-0 victory over Burkina Faso on Tuesday night in Marrakesh. Goals from Amad Diallo, Yan Diomande and Bamba Toure capped a dominant performance by the Elephants, who will now face Egypt in a blockbuster quarterfinal as they chase a historic back-to-back AFCON title. Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta said that the Premier League leaders must win trophies, and if they were to be remembered like the Invincibles, side that last won the title for the Gunners in 2004, as a winger side romped to the title 22 years ago without losing a single league game. Arsenal head into Thursday's clash at home to the reigning champions Liverpool with a 6-point lead at the top of the table. And although Manchester City and Aston Villa can cut that gap when they are in action on Wednesday, Arteta's men runners-up for the past 3 seasons have 2 more points and 4 more goals than Wenger's Invincibles managed after 20 games. But the Spaniard said those stats matter little unless Arsenal go on to win the league. Arsenal lost 1-0 to Liverpool at Anfield back in August, in what was billed as an early showdown between title rivals. And that's where we wrap up tonight's news. I remain Victor Daniels. Good night.